You need to hear this, folks. There are 5 absolutely shocking hypotheses for the start of World War III, and they could happen a lot sooner than you think. We are currently walking on a razor's edge. Have you ever truly asked yourself what might actually light the fuse for World War III? Maybe it's a terrifying thought, but our goal in understanding these potential triggers is not to just scare you. The objective is simple. We need to know the exact fault lines in our modern world so we can fight to avoid them. Today, we're going to examine 5 highly plausible and chilling hypotheses that show how the next great global conflict could kick off. Forget what you've seen in the movies. The reality is far more complex and unexpected. Let's start with the most familiar scenario, a classic geopolitical trigger. See this as a global chess match where one wrong move can knock over the entire board. The most dangerous spot on most analysts' maps is the area around Taiwan and the South China Sea. A naval clash there isn't just a local dispute. It could directly pull in the world's biggest military powers, turning a small disagreement into a global firestorm overnight. But it's not only about territory. The global economy today is terrifyingly fragile. Our entire trade system relies on a few critical, narrow maritime choke points. Imagine the Strait of Hormuz or the Bab el-Mandeb Strait being shut down by conflict. Global shipping would completely freeze. Oil prices would skyrocket. The world economy could collapse within hours, and that means immense pressure for military intervention. And finally, we have the domino effect of alliances. A severe conflict, say in the Middle East or on the Korean Peninsula, might seem far away, but the rigid obligations of treaties could force allies to pick sides. This means countries get dragged one after another into a war that spirals far beyond its original borders. Just like the complex web of alliances that led to the start of World War I, what do you think is the most dangerous spot in the world right now? Tell me in the comments below. Now let's switch to a scenario that feels like science fiction, but is becoming more real every day. Technological warfare. The first shot of World War III might not be a missile launch, but a line of code. Picture this. A massive coordinated cyber attack simultaneously takes down the power grids, communication networks, and banking systems of a major nation. The country is paralyzed, plunged into darkness and chaos, without a single soldier having to step foot on the ground. This digital Pearl Harbor could be the opening move of a new kind of war. Next, we have the terrifying rise of autonomous weapons. I'm talking about AI-powered drones and systems capable of making life or death decisions on the battlefield in milliseconds, faster than any human could react. What happens when an AI messes up? Who is accountable? The risk of an accidental war started by a machine is no longer a philosophical question. It's an engineering problem we have to solve now. And the battlefield is getting bigger. The newest fighting ground is outer space. A war could begin with the weaponization of satellites. Imagine one power disabling another's eyes and ears in orbit, blinding their communication and GPS systems. In modern warfare, the nation that controls space could control the planet. The war might be won or lost before the first soldier even knows it has begun. If these deep facts are catching your interest, make sure you hit that subscribe button so we can uncover more secrets together. The next hypothesis is perhaps the most insidious because it's driven by forces that are already in motion. Resource and climate collapse. For 100 years, we fought over oil, but futurists predict that the next major conflicts will be water wars. As climate change accelerates, fresh water is becoming an increasingly scarce resource. Nations sharing river systems might be forced into a zero-sum game for survival, where turning on a tap in one country means the other goes thirsty. This isn't a distant threat. There is already major tension over this issue worldwide. Then, we have the human element. The World Bank predicts that by 2050, we could have over 200 million climate refugees, people displaced by rising sea levels, permanent drought, and catastrophic floods. Such a massive, uncontrolled wave of migration could completely shatter international borders, leading to chaos and conflict on an unprecedented scale. And what happens when a powerful nation finds itself on the brink of starvation? A government facing severe internal pressure from food shortages, energy crises, and economic collapse might see only one way out: aggressive military expansion. For a desperate, hungry power, war might not look like a choice, but a necessity for national survival. But what if the next world war doesn't start from a strategic blueprint? What if it begins with a simple, catastrophic mistake? This is our fourth hypothesis: the risk of accident and miscalculation. Remember how many times we came terrifyingly close to nuclear annihilation during the Cold War due to technical glitches, a flock of geese on a radar screen, a faulty computer chip? These things nearly triggered an all-out nuclear launch. In today's hyper-computerized military systems, a simple software bug or a false radar warning could still lead a commander, under immense pressure, to believe they are under attack and authorize a retaliatory strike that cannot be reversed. Next, we have the dangerous game in volatile hotspots. Imagine a surveillance plane accidentally shot down, or two naval ships colliding during aggressive maneuvers. Without clear and rapid communication channels, such an incident could quickly escalate from a simple apology to open conflict as national pride and military posturing take over. Perhaps the most human cause of all is simple miscalculation. A leader might think they can launch a special military operation and achieve a quick, low-cost victory. But they fail to calculate the chain reaction they've set in motion, underestimating the resolve of global alliances. This single arrogant misjudgment could be the spark that sets the world on fire. Shocked so far? If so, hit the like button, and let's move to the final and perhaps most important hypothesis. And finally, let's look to the past to understand the future. Our fifth hypothesis is based on historical models and repeating patterns. History doesn't repeat itself exactly, but it often rhymes. One of the clearest lessons from 1914 is the danger of rigid, entangling alliances. A small conflict in the Balkans became a world war because treaties automatically pulled countries into the fight. Today, we face a similar structure, like NATO on one side and emerging pacts in the east. This means a regional crisis, once again, has the potential to go global instantly. Another powerful historical parallel is the dynamic between a great declining power and a rising one. Historians call this the Thucydides trap. The tension, fear, and rivalry between the established power and the challenger make conflict highly probable. This is arguably the most dangerous moment in international relations, a dynamic we are witnessing right now on the global stage. But there is one monumental difference between 1914 and today: nuclear weapons. This is the great paradox of our time. The very weapons that could cause the complete destruction of humanity also serve as the ultimate deterrent. The knowledge that any major conflict between nuclear powers could escalate into the last war in human history is, hopefully, the one thing that maintains the peace. But it is a peace that rests on a razor's edge. So, from geopolitical chess and cyber warfare to climate collapse and simple human error, the paths to a third world war are more varied and complex than ever before. Recognizing these dangers doesn't mean giving in to despair. It means cultivating the wisdom, diplomacy, and global cooperation needed to navigate these treacherous waters. The future is not yet written, and it is up to all of us to ensure these hypotheses remain merely warnings, not prophecies. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this analysis insightful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive video. What do you think is the most likely trigger? Let me know in the comments below. Stay curious and stay safe.